You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
Well, good morning, and hello, kids, and welcome to Season 3 and episode number 174 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. Today, recording day is Monday, July 31st, 2023, and it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day here at the Beaver Lodge. And finally, hopefully, some temperatures that stay somewhere more around normal like we had yesterday, which was really nice. But we'll see. We'll see. It's been a cruel summer, as the song goes. I'm your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Beaver, and with me as always is my good friend, Mr. Grizzly, who is back to the grind, dear kitties, back to the grind. Of course, a big thank you goes to our podcast's founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. Sometimes when you're walking, you forget to lift your feet and you hear the scuffle. Sometimes it's like I forget to open my mouth wide enough. And the words don't fully come out. We have a Monday morning bite for you. But before we do anything, the most important task, let's say hello to Mr. Grizzly and ask him how his mental health is doing today. Hello, Mr. Grizzly. How's your mental health doing today?
Well, hello, Mr. Beaver. I think I'm good, mental health-wise. A little tired, although I went to bed early last night. I woke up at 4 and fell back to sleep, and then woke up again at 5 when the alarm went off and fell back to sleep, and then woke up again at 6. So I'm guessing I had a very disturbed sleep. I don't know. I'll check the monitor later to see, but not fully awake yet. I am on my first cup of coffee, so we'll see how this goes. And I'm going to ease into the work, back to work today by starting off my work week at home. But first thing I've got to do is send a message to my team and said, yeah, can you reset my password? Because I can't remember where I wrote it down.
That's a good vacation.
I did. I usually save it in my notepad on my phone so that I can access it. Then it gets back up to my other phone and backed up to my personal phone. So that way I can't find it anywhere. So it's like, maybe I forgot to write it down. I don't know. Yeah. I'd say it was a good rest. I could probably honestly use a couple more days, but that's, here's how I see it. I'm back to work this week. Then I have a long weekend. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good way to. I think I planned it out fairly decently,
And then
so
one more long weekend in another month.
Exactly. So and I still have another week's vacation. Whether or not I use it is up for debate. We'll see. I might burn it at Christmas and just take a few extra days off. We'll see. That's a little ways off yet.
Yep.
Uh, we'll see. We'll see.
Kits, thank you for your patience. I'm a little late today. Honestly, I have no real excuse other than I got distracted watching the Women's World Cup.
Don't.
Yeah, I know. The match is not going well. Now, the previous match didn't go well for Australia.
Yeah.
Because it had lost to Nigeria. So you're thinking, okay, well, Australia is going to be super motivated.
And they are.
Right? And then home crowd. And it did unfortunately start off 2-0 for Australia, a goal at about the 11th minute and one at the 40th. But once again, I do not know how they freaking managed to do it. But once again, Canada Soccer screwed it up. While these ladies, these women were on the pitch at the World Cup, the event other than the Olympics on the calendar, representing Canada, while they were there, while they were playing, they were still negotiating the damn contracts, including how they would get paid for the tournament in which they are currently playing should they have won the big prize. Or should they have won anything, any of the winnings, how they get split. They were making them negotiate how they would get paid. They still didn't know whether or not they would get paid for this year as they were playing. And they were negotiating during the tournament. And then they reached an interim deal with which the players are not content. The deal which forced the players to choose between getting World Cup money in a fair way or equitable in equal pay with the men's team, and force them to choose between compensation and adequate preparation.
How can they be this inept at this job? Like, what is it with Canada Soccer? That Canada Soccer, by the way, their headquarters, as you know, good sir,
Yes.
are just a few meters from my front door.
Yeah.
They're like half a block away.
Yep. What?
I'm tempted to go down and say, guys, come on.
They screwed the men over.
Yeah.
In their preparation, they didn't even get it. I mean,
it makes me wonder, are they as corrupt as Hockey Canada?
Like, what the hell?
Because they get FIFA money, right?
Yeah. Now, the new sports minister, Carla Qualtrough, is actually down where they're playing.
She's right in now. Melbourne?
Yeah, she went to go visit them. According to the players, she didn't even bring up the contract at all. Just went to encourage and support. Meanwhile, Canada Soccer was negotiating during the damn tournament.
Weren't they threatening to sit the tournament out at one point?
Yep, and the one before the She Believes tournament was the one that they were threatening to turn out, and then Soccer Canada said, "Yeah, we have this thing called a contract here that
the thing is,
and they didn't do well there either."
Well, I'll get into discussions with some fellas sometimes, and they go, "Well, the women shouldn't get paid as much as the men because they don't have the same audience." And I'm like, in Canada and the United States, women's national teams have much bigger audiences than the men's team. And Canada Soccer men's team, until very recently, had almost no audience, right? Because they never did anything. They qualified for the World Cup and they won the CONCACAF, and I mean, they did great in that. But our women won the Olympic gold medal.
And then 2 bronze.
Yeah. Like, come on.
It's just,
When they had the Women's World Cup here in Ottawa a few years back, I went to a match. It was USA and I can't remember the other team. Complete sellout, standing room only. You couldn't get a ticket. It was the hottest ticket in town. And a large part of the audience that day, because it was an American team, Team USA, were from the United States, from
Right.
upstate New York, a bunch, because we'll get a lot of New Yorkers come up here frequently in the summertime. Thankfully I've never seen anybody show up with skis on their roof rack in July because
I've
upstate New
seen that once in
Yorkers
my life.
upstate New Yorkers tend to be smart enough to know that, well, if it's not snowing here, it's probably not snowing across the St. Lawrence River. Uh, although a friend of mine used to work for CBSA in Windsor and would occasionally get people from Michigan wanting to go skiing at Blue Mountain in July. And she's like, what? Like, I realize Blue Mountain is not exactly close to Windsor. It's a long drive, but it's
Yeah.
not that far north. Good God, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, according at least to the women's team, they're saying this isn't over.
Yeah.
So, a statement from the Canadian women's national soccer team. On Monday, July 24th, we reached an interim agreement with Canada Soccer to provide compensation for our team for 2023, including prize money allocation from the FIFA Women's World Cup. As the extent of Canada Soccer's financial constraints have been revealed, we have been forced to choose between compensation and the funding required to hold necessary training camps. We have been forced to choose between receiving a fair share of the rewards from our team's successes at the World Cups and our commitment to equal pay and equal treatment with our men's national team. These are choices we should not have had to make. And they are right.
Yes.
And now it is 3-0 Australia.
Yeah. And I think
I
I got a feed playing here, but I think it's a slightly delayed.
So, yeah, it's going to be elimination.
Yeah, I think so. Which is
Thank you, Canada Soccer. We are deeply disappointed to find ourselves without a more complete agreement at this crucial stage in our calendar, because that's the mood you want to create within the team when you're sending him in for a do or die match at the biggest stage other than the Olympics, is disappointed with your federation. While there are many important items remaining for future negotiation with Canada Soccer, we have worked with Canada Soccer to make sure this interim compensation agreement ensures at minimum equal pay with our men's national team within the constraints created by Canada Soccer's financial situation, which probably could have been better had they marketed things better. But they screwed that up too. This isn't over. We and the men's national team remain committed to finding a long-term solution that provides for fair and equal treatment for our current national teams and investments in the future of Canada Soccer. But for now, our team just wants to focus on soccer, which they clearly did not get to do, given the result. We want to thank our loyal supporters, the teams and players around the world who... I had to open it. Who have stood with us and the men's national team for their continued support of our team. Sincerely, the women's national team players. Women of the team, hold your heads high, because this is not you. This is not you. They sent you in with hands tied behind your back. Yeah, Kitland M. It's almost like Soccer Canada is deliberately trying to tank the soccer program. I don't get this.
I don't know.
I don't get this. You don't make people negotiate their contracts in a year you haven't paid them yet while they're on the pitch at the big event. At any event. Small event, whatnot. Like, a tournament is not a multitasking activity. I don't get that. I mean, the number one thing about sport is like isolating people so that they can focus just on the sport. I mean, Summer McIntosh, like, there's between her like 400 IM event, which she won in spectacular fashion,
Mm-hmm.
took
By
5 days off.
She had 2-3 body lengths in that
Oh,
when
yeah.
she won that.
Yeah. But she took 5 days off. There are relays she skipped. Team Canada decided not to put her on certain things to rest her so she could do that.
Mm.
And meanwhile, in Australia, they're still negotiating their damn contract. Man, that board needs to be fired. Again, Hockey Canada style. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
not for improprieties of any type that way, but that involve, physical assault or harassment, but just for gross incompetence. This is gross incompetence. It's downright malpractice for a sports federation to do that. That's just, I mean, any basic sports psychologist will tell you you don't do that.
Indeed.
I mean, yeah, anyway, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's weighing heavy on their mind, whether they are professionals. They're very, very good at what they do, but it's still in the back of your mind. It's like a psychological barrier, right? Like, come on.
You've been literally fighting for something. It's destroying your preparation. You've said during your preparation before going in that this is destroying their preparation. You don't give them a send-off game. We're in tomorrow's August. They haven't been paid yet for the year.
Mm-hmm.
They went into the previous big tournament and didn't do well there because, again, they were negotiating stuff right before going to the tournament. They didn't want to play the She Believes tournament as protest. And then basically Canada Soccer go, "Do you want to eat?"
Yeah.
So then they played. And now they're over here and they're doing it to them again. It's just, they went into the match saying they were disappointed.
Mm-hmm. Now somebody
How do
somewhere
you
is
put
going
all
to.
your heart into that? In a must-win game, when you know you're playing against the home team, that's a must-win game for them too, and they are going to come out swinging with home crowd on home field. And you send them in with that?
Somebody somewhere is going to go, well, they tanked it intentionally. I'm like, no. I'm going to tell you right now, they're out there representing the nation. They want to win more than anything else, but they've got this whole other cloud over their shoulders right now that just,
And unnecessary. Should not be there. Should not be there. You know what? When this is over, right? And they have they might blow up at the press conference immediately after,
mm-hmm.
but these women have been exceptional in their public poise with this situation because they are livid. And that statement was incredibly diplomatic for people who are livid. Now, they might do that diplomatic thing all the way to the end of this World Cup. That last press conference, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they may blow up there. We don't know. But when they get home, we are going to hear
will hit the shan. The fit will hit the shan.
I put some pins on it. Put some sticks on it. Because Carla Qualtrough is probably going to be busy fixing or kicking or putting some pressure for some people on that board at Canada Soccer to change after this, because this is unacceptable.
Oh, agreed.
Especially after everything that team has given the nation, and to send Christine Sinclair out like that.
Mm-hmm.
To do the most her dirty like that in the
most successful player in Canadian soccer history.
This was supposed to be her Messi tournament, like Messi for the men's World Cup. This was supposed to be hers.
Goes out on top. Yeah.
They're not even going to make the playoff, the knockout round.
No, they're. It's a sad state of affairs. Now, can we lay 100% of the blame at the loss of Canada Soccer? Well, no, they didn't play the game, but they certainly didn't contribute to creating a winning atmosphere. Right?
Their job is to create the optimal conditions for the team to win. That's Canada Soccer's job.
Maybe if we call it grass hockey, the money will flow. That's a good one, Mohan.
Field hockey didn't work.
Yeah.
It's really weird, eh? We're great at hockey so long as it's on skates or in like sneakers on the road.
Yeah.
As soon as we put cleats,
ball hockey, street hockey on the ice. Yeah.
but as soon as it involves cleats.
Well, that being said, when a bunch of years back, I was returning from vacation in Uruguay, and we had a connecting flight in Santiago, Chile, and I see this. Obviously, there's a squad of it's young women. It's a team of some type. I can't remember exactly. Anyway, I just remember looking at them. I go, "Oh, you're a team," and they go, "Oh, you speak English?" I go, "Yeah, I'm from Canada." I go, what do you play? Oh, we're a hockey team. I'm like, oh, I play hockey too. And they looked at me like I had two heads. See, the reason being, when I say hockey, I think of on the ice. When Canada, we just say hockey. We don't say ice hockey. We say hockey. Anything else gets a precursor: street hockey, ball hockey, right?
Right. Air hockey.
Yeah. Down there in that part of the world, when you say hockey, it's field hockey. And it's in that part of the world is viewed as a woman's sport. Men don't play field hockey; they play football. So she looked at me like, "You play hockey?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm from Canada. I'm a goalie on the ice." Oh, ice hockey. Yeah, we call it hockey where I live. It was a cute conversation. Yeah, anyway, but the look on her face, like. I think it was a combination of, well, that's very progressive and, because you're like old, because she couldn't have been more than 17 or 18, right?
Because you're like old.
Well, I was in my 40s at the time.
I love that.
I'm an old, right? I'm also a poor. I'm a poor and
you're
I'm
one of the
old.
olds?
Yeah, I'm one of the olds.
Yes. Oh, boy. Gee. Okay, moving on, since we're talking about labor disputes, the on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again, BC port strike was on again Friday.
What the hell is going on with that? And
I do not know. I do not know. But was on again Friday, and then I woke up this morning, and it is off again. It seems that, again, the Minister of Labor, and here's the thing, right? Absolutely every single time, right, the workers have walked away from the deal, Pierre Poilievre and friends have been there to rush right in and say, this labor minister should be fired. This should be terrible. And then the labor minister does something like, for example, gets the Canada Industrial Relations Board to deliver a judgment super fast that first one was illegal, showing that he had absolutely everything there. Our old pal Jake is watching this morning. Hey, how are you? Hey, and a new name, Andrew Tufts. Good morning, kid Andrew. On vacation, can tune in live for the first time. It's lovely to see your smiling faces. I enjoy your show very much. Well, thank you for saying so. How kind of you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Welcome. Welcome to the Beaver Lodge. So they were all over him. It's like, oh my God, this is terrible. And then he got that labor relations decision saying that strike was illegal. And then they went back to the negotiating table. And then it seemed that the International Longshore and Warehouse Union agreed to the same deal they had walked out on. And then that was going forward. And then Friday, they walked away from it again. And then all weekend long, the Conservatives have been calling for the Labor Minister's head. Yes, and then the labor ministers said to the Canada Industrial Relations Board, yeah, you are going in there and you are going to impose the deal now because, I mean, the difference isn't that much. And that's been his statement for the longest time. And it seems that both now the BC Maritime and Employers Union Association, will be recommending that the employers ratify the deal, and the Longshore Union will be recommending that the workers ratify the deal. We'll see if they do. But this was the last time it was off. It was the actual workers. So the first time the deal didn't go through, it was the union representatives that didn't even bring it to the workers because they said this wasn't good enough. Then they brought the same deal to the workers, and now the workers voted it down. That's what happened for this weekend. So now there's another deal that's been posed. So the labor minister, right, has been doing everything he needs to do and has had everything ready at the ready so it could be put in right away, and is still not called back to work legislation because technically they are still working because the second strike was deemed illegal, so they weren't able to. They went off picketed that day at 4:30, and they were back on that job, later. But he's been there and he's been doing the right thing every single time. And there has been no further work disruption since the first illegal walk-off that was less than a day before, he got that judgment. So he's doing the job as it's supposed to be done. And again, the workers rejected the deal that was put to them in a vote. That's not the labor minister's fault. His job is to get a deal to them. If the workers didn't rejected the deal, then they said the deal wasn't good enough. Well, as we said the last time we talked about this, like 5 of the 49 owners, 5 have recorded about $100 billion in profits during the COVID epidemic. They clearly don't want to share some of the money.
Well, and they're trying to fully automate everything too, which is one of the other things that they're fighting against.
Right, exactly. So, and they have the money to do it now, right? So
there's an article Tavi just sent me from CNBC from 2022. A West Coast port worker union is fighting robots. The stakes for the supply chain are high.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to fully automate everything, right? Which, look, I get it. We've talked about this. The robots are coming for your jobs. They are. They are. We've been saying this for a while now. AI and bots are, every company that can automate will, because look at the money we can save. Automated, they don't call in sick, they don't take vacations, they don't strike, they don't do. Okay, that's great. But when you eliminate the entire workforce, as you are trying to do, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. How do people buy your products if they don't have money?
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got conservatives fighting against the ideology and the idea of a basic universal income or universal basic income.
Yeah.
It's like the stupidity, all because of what? What's that magic 5-letter word?
Greed.
Yep. That's all it is.
And also, it creates also another situation. For example, should we have another pandemic, and it seems that they're going to become more frequent, where things shut down, if everything is computer and automated, and then we have another semiconductor thing, or we have, all of a sudden you're going to need bodies, and now you have nobody trained to do it.
Sorry, I'm upset about something right now.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, I'm upset about stupidity.
Yeah, well,
here's the stupidity. I have to share this because it's really eating at me right now.
Okay.
So it's Monday. I'm back to work for the first time in 3 weeks. I work from home on Mondays. I'm going to ease into the work.
Oh, no, they called you in.
Ease on it. No. Ease into the work week. I will be able to sit here. I was going to log on early so I could respond to the emails because there's like a bunch of them. And I said, okay, I cannot remember where I wrote down my password. I'll need a password reset from my laptop so I can log in. Please send me the new password here before you reset it. Guess what they did? I can't log into anything, and I've been booted out of my chat, so I can't even say, send me the password. So guess what I have to do?
You have to go in to get the password physically because they sent it to your office.
Yeah.
Yep. Because people don't read.
Clearly. This is not the first time this has happened to me. It happened to me once before. I said, for some reason, my password isn't working. They go, oh, it's expired. I'm like, but it shouldn't be expired. Like, yeah, there was a system reset this weekend. Okay, can you send me a new password? Before you do it, make sure you send it to me here before you reset it. Tell me what it is so I can log in. Yeah, no problem. Reset the password. Jesus Christ. I have to go into the office now. This is not how I wanted my work week to start. You can understand my frustration.
Yeah.
We need you to fill that hole in. Okay, let me dig a new one here. No, don't do that.
Unbelievable. Okay. Yeah.
I can't even email anybody.
That's just, again, I should not be laughing, but it's my Beaver Sweeney and I were just having this conversation the other day about, people say something and then people are not fully paying attention and then they hear something and they respond to something that you didn't ask. Or, for example, you send an email and the email has 2 questions and the person responds with just the first answer to the first. And it's like, there were 2 damn questions. Now I have to write you back. And the answer to the other question is, and it's like,
yeah,
read the full damn email. I took the time to write it clearly. It has 2 questions. Why are you answering just one? Or just, yeah. So, yeah, we are so distracted.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm going to email somebody here. I'm going to try and save myself a trip.
Katavi G's going, look at your coworkers are waiting to celebrate your return with muffins and coffee.
Somehow
it's a surprise party. Oh man. So yeah, Pierre has been losing his mind with it. So 15 hours ago, it was like, Minister O'Regan must be fired. And like he put it like even on official letterhead, leader of the opposition, he wrote a letter to Justin Trudeau. I wrote Canada's manager. Hello, dear manager of Canada. Prime Minister, but yeah. I'm writing you concerning the BC pork strike, which despite 2 brief interruptions now looks set to continue. The strike has prevented over 7,000 workers from doing their jobs on the port. The strike hasn't prevented them from doing their jobs. It's not like they're fighting to do their jobs and the strike prevented the workers from doing the jobs. The workers decided to stop doing their jobs so that they could be paid more. What? Dude, what are you on? and could result in layoffs in many other workplaces. It has blocked $800 million a day in shipping and caused $250 million a week in damage to our economy. At a time when Canadians are struggling to buy food because of the inflation your policies have caused, the backlogs happening as a result of this strike will lead to higher prices and empty grocery shelves. Yeah, okay. Here's a wonderful strategy for getting someone who's your political opponent to take action on something you claim to be caring about, is telling him that his policies unilaterally alone caused the global food inflation situation. Because, yeah, that predisposes someone to hearing whatever you have to say next.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Prime Minister, this is a situation that you and your labor minister are directly responsible for. Ports are a federal responsibility. The industry and workers are federally regulated. There is a federal mediator, and your federal minister has failed to do his job to bring this situation to an end. It is your federal government that clearly wears the blame for this failure.
How many times did he use failure federal in that paragraph? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Unbelievable.
Little blamey there.
Oh, yeah.
Little blamey.
Prime Minister, this has been a long trail of failures with plenty of warnings, yet you and your minister have failed to act. Here's the chronology.
And then he lists the whole thing. Right? The whole process, which again is not the government to interfere with at any step along the way. The guy who claims he stands for workers and whistleblowers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got into that one the other day, didn't we?
Yeah. And then he lists all of that.
As you can see, the first signs of this disruption occurred in November of 2022. You and your minister had nearly a year and a half to solve this, but you have failed.
There's nothing to solve for the federal government to get involved until there actually is a strike voted on, until something becomes real. There is no place for the federal government to intervene in a labor negotiation between an employer and its union or employees. There's no place. Just like there's no place for the government in the bedrooms of a nation, there's no place for government in that part of the process. It's only once there is a strike, and should be only once the strike has had impacts that are starting to become a little onerous. In the case, for example, as was this one, where the positions are really not that far off enough to warrant the disruption, then you bring in help. What has been done is exactly how it is supposed to be done. We just haven't seen it in a damn long while in this country. Conservatives can't handle it. But this is the way things are supposed to work. And once again, in all of this, if the employees, if the first deal, the union wouldn't even bring it to the employees, and then the second deal, okay, the union brought it to the employees, and it was the same damn deal. The union didn't want to take first time because they didn't think it would fly, and whoa, lo and behold, it didn't fly. That's not the employee's fault, and that's not the union's fault, because the union tried to prevent this from happening in the first place because they knew the deal wouldn't be accepted. Nobody in all of this is blaming the Employers Association for not offering a good enough deal.
Of course not.
There are two parties negotiating. Why is it always the workers that are bad? The workers walked away from the deal because the deal wasn't good enough. Oh, those terrible workers. Well, I mean, your first offer, the workers were going up to them and saying, hey, could we have some more money because of cost of living and inflation? And then the first offer was, how about we don't do that and you figure it out on your own? I mean, that was the opening bid from the employers, right? I mean, that's always the employer's opening bid. How about we not pay you more? How about, better yet, how about we find a way to get more productivity out of you without paying you more? Let's do that instead. To which employers say, employees go, we'd rather not, thank you. And here we are. So in this case, we have the employer goes, this is what we're offering. And then the union goes, no, we won't even present that to our employees. That's not good enough. And then we're going to walk off. And then said, well, no, you can't walk off because you're no longer in a legal strike position because you came back to the table. You stopped your job action the first time. You have to have another strike vote. Okay. Then, okay, well, fine. We'll bring your deal that you offered us that we said wouldn't fly to our employees, and we'll see how it works out. And then the employees voted it down. Seems that the employee side is doing what they need to do to make sure that a deal gets done, and then the employers are going, "Yeah, we're not. We're just, this is all we're going to do, and not more." Where's the pressure on them to move a little? Why is the starting assumption from everybody commenting that the deal that the employers made is completely and totally reasonable and shouldn't be improved in any way? There is another narrative here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you'll notice that the federal government is not taking the narrative that the employees are being unreasonable or that the workers are being unreasonable, but that both sides are not that far apart to warrant this. So they haven't picked sides. But everybody else is picking sides. Again, the federal government happens to be doing this the way it is supposed to be done. It's just that we're not used to it because we haven't seen it. Because in Canada, the culture is before they even go on strike, somebody's calling for back to work legislation. This is how it's supposed to happen. So, so now there is a deal that's been imposed, that's been agreed to by the union and the workers, where the federal mediator from the Canada Industrial Relations Board came in again, as called upon by the minister, again, to settle it, to settle the difference. We'll see what happens next. But there's an expression I use at sometimes, you don't have to swing at every damn pitch. If you're the opposition and there's a labor negotiation and it's on again, then off again, then on again and off again, how about waiting to see how many times it goes on again, off again, then making your comment instead of making a comment every time it's off again, but having no praise every time it's on again? If you're calling for the minister's resignation every time it's off again, but you're not calling for him to be promoted every time it's on again, just saying.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get from that little bit to something you had been wanting to talk about, Mr. Grizzly. Taking people out of context.
Yeah. We all saw the clip on the weekend. Well, I say we all saw the weekend. I saw it this morning. I guess it was...
we can definitely play some. We can definitely play some. If you want.
Just give me a sec here. Just give me 2 seconds here. I'm just getting logged in.
Because, yes, there's a... what happened is that Pierre Poilievre on July 28th put out a tweet. Christopher Freeland. No, you've probably been hearing about her saying that, cancel your Disney and move to Toronto if you have trouble with inflation or something. And so I'll go, well, when you get paid $267,000 a year, I'm sure you don't have to worry about inflation. And she said, I don't drive. So, well, of course you don't drive, but you have a driver and paid for it. So, of course, they're trying to make it look like she's completely and totally out of touch. Well, when that first clip went out, you would think that, okay, that's what it is. Well, it turns out that clip was not the integral version.
Of course not.
Yes. So, Mr. Grizzly, whenever you're ready.
You want me to play his version?
Yes.
Or the clip I have
we'll
of
play
him?
his version first, if you have it.
Well, I don't have his version.
I have his version
with Christopher Freeland.
Okay, I definitely have his version.
I have a separate clip.
You have hers.
Yes. No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay, I have both.
Okay, what I have is a clip of him.
Yes. Okay, you have a clip of him. Yes. Okay. Well, yeah. We'll do the Christopher Freeland's first, and then we'll put in his. Okay. So here we go.
Just give me a second here. This thing is just so frustrating. All right, here's the clip. Which one is this? Is this his?
This is his. So this is the Skippy version of what she
Right.
said.
A question for the Deputy Minister. What do you say to Prince Edward Islanders who woke up to a significant increase in gas, diesel, and oil this morning between 6 and 8 cents per liter?
Okay. Well, I have been talking about that with Heath and Sean. Heath and Sean and I had breakfast together before that.
One of the key industries here on Prince Edward Island in particular is our tourist industry. And particular to that, our car tourist industry. People traveling from our region to this island to be tourists with policies like the carbon tax and the clean fuel standards, which are by design meant to reduce consumption of fuel and reduce. Are you worried that's going to have a chilling effect on one of the key industries here on Prince Edward Island?
So yeah, I'm very aware of that. And actually, with a couple of my colleagues, we drove here last night from Halifax. We very much believe in PEI. We believe in the tourism industry, and we believe in the PEI economy overall. Today's announcement was about all of that. You guys are nice.
I did want to say one more thing, though. I don't need you to retread the ground you've gone over. You've answered this question from the other side. But you are facing a lot of pushback in this region, in particular from local politicians, local provincial governments that say this, they're not opposed to it, but it's coming too soon, too fast. They need more time to adapt. What do you say to that?
You know what? I say I do really understand. I really understand the challenges. A fact that still shocks my dad is I don't actually own a car because I live in downtown Toronto. I'm like, I don't know, 300 meters from the nearest subway. I walk, I take the subway, I make my kids walk and ride their bikes and take the subway. It's actually healthier for our family. I can live that way. I can live that way.
Okay. Now, if you're listening at home, some of those sentences probably didn't make total sense because if you are watching, you would see, but you don't see this at home. These were not full answers. This was not politics in full sentences. There was a bit of a sentence, let that run for about like 30 seconds, and then it was cut with something else that would run for 15, and cut to something else that would run for a while. And then, of course, you've got that music gently in the background that makes you think a little bit of Curb Your Enthusiasm. And, of course, they show when you overlay somebody laughing on that music, right? Well, and they have been running with this.
Of course they have.
Well, Charles Adler put this one in context. This is how I saw it. I saw it from his feed rather than Miss Freeland's on her own. But he says, because Canada's Conservative choir dined out on the out-of-context clip sent out by Poilievre, Minister Freeland's team responded with something remarkable: the full reply. So for those who want to think about ideas without being manipulated by partisan cacklers, here it is. And Ms. Grizzly, if you will put it up. Come on. There you go. So she has a thread where she says, Mr. Poilievre, we are focused on making life more affordable for Canadians by bringing inflation down, now at 2.8%, and by supporting the Canadians who need it most. Nearly 1 million more Canadians are working today than when COVID first hit. Our government has lifted 500,000 children and over 50,000 seniors out of poverty, enhanced the Canada Workers' Benefit for our lowest paid workers, and provided more than 11 million Canadians with the grocery rebate. You've fought us every step of the way. If you want to discuss pollution pricing rebates, our plan puts more than $700 into the pockets of the family on PEI. Where is your climate plan? Canadians deserve better. And as I said yesterday in my comments you cut out of your clip, I am both a downtown Toronto MP who rides her bike to work in the city and a proud daughter of Northern Alberta who got her driver's license on the day she turned 16. Here's the full clip of my actual reply to the reporter. Now, if this is not a boss move,
You got to remember here, and this is important to state, Vladimir Putin is afraid of Chrystia Freeland. How stupid is Pierre Poilievre to think he could mess with her and take her on?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously.
Mm-hmm. All right.
A despot, dictator, violent killer is afraid of this woman.
Mm-hmm. Now, the full response is 11 minutes and 52 seconds. She put the full thing. Full thing. I am not. I'm not going to play
We're not
11
gonna play
minutes
the
and
whole
52
thing.
seconds. But the thing is that just to say that she literally, like it says, well, can you remove my little eager beaver thingy for a second?
Oh, yeah, I can't do that.
Oh, you can't do
Your
that?
name?
Okay, because it's covering the timestamp, so that's why I couldn't show it. But yeah, 11 minutes and 52 seconds. Just plays the whole thing. You know what? I'm going to put it up in the chat, though, however.
Yes.
But here's the thing. When somebody says, she said this, and she said this, and she said this, and the thing you do is you take the whole damn thing and you put it out there and you go, no, this is what I said. That is boss.
Well, and you have to come and defend yourself. And I'll give you, for instance, where I went through something very similar to that recently, where somebody was watching the show and didn't like what I had to say about something. To which I responded, "And did you watch the rest of the program?" No, I turned it off because I was so disgusted.
Right.
Maybe you should watch the rest of the program, because what you've just done, whether you realize it or not, is what the cons do constantly. They take a snippet to paint a picture that they want you to see. I go, you need to watch the whole thing, because you will discover that the redemption came later in the program. To which I got, oh, I didn't know, because you got upset at what I said, but you refused to watch the rest of it to see where I come along and clear it all up. And this is what the conservatives do all the time. Take a sound, and I said, this is what they do. They take a sound bite, they cut it up to make it look the way they want to. They paint the picture that they want you to see. And you don't get to see the entire picture. You only see a little snippet of it. And what does that do? Well, that damages everybody. Watch the whole damn thing. Stop trying to do this crap, because people are fed up with it.
That's the thing, right?
And when you've got the deputy prime minister saying, all right, Charles U. Farley, I'm coming for you on this one.
But here's the thing, right? Puts it out. The number of followers he has, and click that little thing. Oh my God, I can't believe she said that. Now, if you want to know what she said, you have to go and listen to 11 minutes and 52 seconds. Who's going to do that?
Well, of course, right? Of course. And they're counting on that. They're counting on that. Not a 2-minute soundbite. Wait, we can live with that. 11 minutes. Oh my God, that's so much time. Well, isn't the truth worth your time? I think the truth is worth your time. I think exposing liars for lying is worth your time. I think exposing those who wish to paint a picture that they want you to see when the actual picture is fully formed and completed, I think it's worth your time. But hey, that's me, and that's why we do this.
Yep. Because we hope that people will find us, and because they don't have tons of time, but us with longer format and everything, you can put us on while you're making dinner or making lunch or cleaning the garage or doing whatever it is that you do. And try to get a sense or an appreciation for what it is that is going on, because everybody's most valuable resource is time.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all being pulled in so many ways that, said the job, the duty of citizenship, of being an informed and engaged citizen, is becoming harder and harder and harder to do.
Yeah, it is. It truly is.
Because, if the puppeteers are making you dance and most of your dance is spent on hunting and foraging,
mm-hmm.
and ensuring you have a roof over your head. There's not much time for art and culture now, is there?
No.
Or introspection or deep thought, or if you're always worried about what you're going to put in your food tomorrow, a 5-year plan is a little trickier to. It's almost a luxury.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go with context, right? Clips in context. I'm going to share you a clip. It's 10 seconds, and you're going to have to listen carefully.
Yep.
This is Pierre Poilievre in a long sleeve T-shirt. I don't know where this took place or when this took place because he's wearing glasses in the picture, in the video clip. So it could have been, I don't know when it took place, but he's wearing a long sleeve T-shirt instead of a shirt and tie.
Which is recent.
Yeah, that's recent for him.
He may need a contact break.
Who knows? But I'm going to show you this clip in just a second here. And you draw your own conclusion when it comes to, well, what's the entire... And again, I'm playing this clip with the understanding that I don't know what else there was to it. This is all I see. Rage farming happens on both sides. Except usually one side is trying to pursue the truth and the other side is just trying to get you riled up. This will get you riled up. What else there is to the clip, I don't know. But what we hear in this clip is he let his mask slip. That's my personal opinion because, well, let's just watch, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
You got to listen carefully.
DEI, ESG and DEI, it's all garbage. Because a lot of companies don't get funding now.
It's all garbage. It's all garbage.
DEI.
The DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. His response is, it's all garbage. It's all garbage. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is garbage. From that, again, I don't know what else there was to the video, the clip. That's all I've seen. That's all I've seen, 10 seconds. And what would I take from that? Well, he's a white supremacist, racist pile of fecal matter because he just said white men are in charge and that's the way it should be. Anything else is garbage. That's what I got out of that message. I don't know about you, sir, but that's what I heard.
Again, that small clip. I mean, all we hear is the person talking about diversity, equity, inclusion, and Poilievre saying that's garbage. Now, there might have been lots of stuff that came before these, mentioning he's saying all of it is garbage or something, but I mean, but hey,
well, if you,
but hey, you're dishing it out, sister.
Yeah. Tit for tat, right? I mean, okay, dude, you said that. I heard it. Want to play the full clip? Give us the full clip. Give us an explanation. How much you want to bet mainstream media will not address this at all?
I know, but that there you go right there. Then show us. Then give us the full clip.
Give us the full clip.
The way Christian did.
Yeah. Exactly.
Let us see. But then you get the John Baird thing.
Backpedal.
You
CBC
reported
twisted my
everything
words.
I said like I said it. You showed the integral script. You manipulated my words.
No. We all saw what you said and did. So how's that manipulated? Oh, he got taken to the woodshed for that.
I had to do that. It was in the context of my responsibility as the person taking care of this organization that I do. Yeah, I did, unless Trudeau really is a master propaganda thing and actually wrote that text for you and you decided to read it and didn't, when it came to like the most successful leader of a generation or something like that, you said that you didn't turn around and go, well, wait a minute, I'm not saying that. And then somebody said, yes, you are. Then that was from you. that was all from you, Poodle. Yeah. Just saying.
To this comment too, Tavi. On Friday we did like a 30-minute segment about that. And I actually clipped it and made a short from it. It's 29 minutes and 12 seconds, I believe. It's on our YouTube page, and it directly deals with the Pierre Poilievre intentionally torpedoing Patrick Brown's campaign, and then he went after Jean Charest. We did. I have the clip there. There's a 30-second soundbite about Charest in the shorts. If you go to the YouTube page, you can see it in the shorts, and then you can also see it in the 29-minute version. If you folks can share that with your friends and family and let them know what we're up against here, how dishonest and dirty the politics have gotten in this country, and how they will do anything to win. As I've said time and time again on this program, they will do anything to win. They don't care about you. They only care about power and money, how to get it and how to keep it. They don't care. It's just power and money. You are merely a pawn in their game. That's it. Nothing more. Nothing more. I'm here for the workers. Make the workers go back to work. There's lineups at the airport. Fix the airlines, but less government. Remove the gatekeepers, but please install more gatekeepers. Like, how anybody could follow that crap and swallow it and believe it is just, I'm sorry, it's beyond me. I fail to comprehend how anybody could believe any of that garbage. Yet people get suckered all the time.
Yeah. On the Patrick Brown thing, I was thinking more this weekend, because remember when we were talking about it on Friday, I was saying it would be nice to see a copy of that paycheck stub. That check stub to see. Because, again, right, it seems from the article that the check seems to be for expenses, not for hours. But I was thinking about this more. Is if Patrick Brown found her a job in 2022, when we had staffing shortages and near full employment, what is it about Debbie Jaudoin that made her such that she was unhireable? Number one, that she would need help finding a job. Number one. Number two, if Patrick Brown finds her a job in this organization agrees that, during certain work hours, she'll be able to work on the campaign, for which she will not be paid by the organization. She'll have to make up those hours some other time, like this. And then, of course, it seems that her expenses are supposed to be covered by the campaign. When you file for expenses, you usually file receipts.
Mm-hmm.
With whom did she file the receipts?
Well, that's a good
Did she file the
question.
receipts? Well, she filed the receipts with the person that was her employer. And let's say her employer didn't have many people working on a campaign or had no history doing that. So she files the receipts with them. They pay her. And then she goes, hey, look, I got paid.
Mm-hmm.
Could that have happened? Did she file receipts with both the employer and the Patrick Brown campaign? Double dipping.
I don't know.
But I mean, I was thinking of the check stub, because if she had been paid for hours and receipt, it would say hours and then would say like expenses. There'd be two items on the check or something. But then it dawned on me, it's like, it's the receipts. Who's got the receipts? Because once you got the receipts, you got the story. If she filed the receipts with the organization, if she knows that the campaign is supposed to be paying her back, why did she file receipts with the organization she's working for first? I mean, the whole source of her complaint is that she was paid by a party that was not supposed to. Well, if she filed the receipts with the party that was not supposed to, why did she do that? Interesting questions. Would be really nice. Stephanie Levitz, if you happen to be listening, because you're doing damn good work, would be really nice to see where the receipts for those expenses were filed. With whom? Inconvenient questions. That's why you always have to think about these things as a chessboard almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's sitting there. She has these receipts that she needs to be expend. She can submit them to her employer or to the party. Now she has this complaint. She could take it to Elections Canada She could take it to the Conservative Party itself, the leadership thing, or she could take it to Pierre Poilievre's campaign. Now all of a sudden she has legal fees. She can choose to cover them herself, take out a loan. She can choose to maybe do a GoFundMe, or she can choose to have a third party cover them. So if you game out all those moves, if she did this, why? If you do that, why? If you do. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking all of this stuff. I'm like, well, first of all, you got to file receipts. Where do they end up? And then all of a sudden, well, if you made a complaint, then you knew that thing was wrong. So why would you file the receipts in the wrong place in the first place? If you did, and then now that there's something wrong, why would you accept having a third party pay that bill when you're complaining about a third party paying another bill? It's just really weird. The consistency and the constancy and the coherence, those are three words I like very much. Coherence, constancy, consistency across the decisions that led to this getting here. They don't make sense.
No.
They really don't. So, the painfully obvious follow-up question. Ask it every damn time. Keep digging, Stephanie Levitz. Keep digging. I have a feeling you're onto something.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely do. Mr. Grizzly, do you have anything else?
Ordinarily I would, but because I've unplugged from the internet for the last couple of days for the most part, I posted a couple of things on the weekend, but I wasn't reading news. I wasn't keeping up with it. Okay. The only thing I can say, I'm sad to report that Canada is knocked out. Well, they lost 4-0 to Australia. And hey, congratulations to Australia.
Yep.
They played a good game under a ton of pressure at home.
Yep.
They won. They deserve the victory. So congratulations to the Aussie women's national team, the Matildas, as they are called. Yes. Hard fought and earned. So good on you. Good on you. Mm-hmm. Hopefully Team Canada will have some commentary about Canada soccer. Time will tell. We don't know yet, but it's one of those things, right?
Now I get to cheer for Team Australia.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hey, if you took us out, you better win the damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
At least we can say we lost to the champions.
Yeah,
go and win. Or you know what? Or Team Nigeria. Heck, why not? Team Nigeria, go win the whole thing because they're advancing. There you go. Hey, it was called the Group of Death.
Oh, yeah.
Killed. Thank you, Canada Soccer.
Are you asking, Mohan, are you asking about the Lucky Ron show I went to on Saturday? That was a good time. It's always a good time.
Yeah.
Lucky Ron's been playing Saturdays for over 30 years. He started out at the Downstairs Club and then moved to the Chateau Lafayette, which is the oldest tavern in the city. And it predates Confederation, actually. And it was a good time. I've gone several times. One of my buddies is there every week. He does sells merch for Lucky Ron and operates his website and stuff like that. So it was a good time. It always is. It was a smaller crowd than normal for a Lucky Ron show. Normally it's standing room only. But in this instance, I think, and I said this to Bridget, and she was like, "Are we going to be able to get in if we don't?" I said, "You know what? I have a feeling there'll be a little bit more room than normal." She goes, "Really? Why?" And I go, "Time of the year. A lot of people are at their cottage right now." She's like, "Oh, yeah." And I go, "A lot of tourists don't necessarily know about it, so they might not, But you always get random people walking in. They hear live music. They want to walk in and check it out. So, yeah, it was a good time. Always is. Always is.
Cool. All right. Then I have a couple of tidbits for us. It seems that the U.S. is taking a tip from Canada. President Joe Biden has signed some orders that remove military commanders from prosecution and complaints processes for all violent crimes. So including, of course, sexual assault and sexual harassment, but, also murder and other types of things as well. So, but yeah, they'll be taking it out of the military system as well, just as we are doing over here. So it's good to see that that seems to be the common consensus of what needs to be done, and it's happening on both sides of the border. 45 got some more bad news. He filed a $475 million defamation suit against CNN because claiming that CNN's using of the phrase "the big lie" with regard to his denials of the election result was a reference to Hitler and associated with him with Hitler, and thus therefore damaged his reputation. The Trump appointed judge in the case that was tried in a Florida court said that what CNN was saying was opinion and not stated as fact, and therefore not subject to defamation, and the suit was dismissed with prejudice, which means that Trump can't refile it.
Oh, darn. What a shame.
I guess he was
What a
looking for
shame.
somebody to add some money to his legal defense fund, and trying to get it from CNN. And it seems that the Trumpies are fighting. He's Hitler without the charm. Or old pal Jake. And then it seems that we got Trumpies fighting Trumpies. I think it's somewhere in California. It seems that Team Trump was presenting a rule change for the primaries. So they said, if you win over 50% of the vote in a primary, then it's winner take all. But if it's under 50%, then it's proportional for everyone, which of course he's suspected that he's going to win many of them outright, which then thus makes it harder for any opponent. Because, if you get a little bit of proportional, even, in a state that you don't win 50, or the state that is won by 50, if you get some of the proportional vote and something happens along the campaign, like, several more indictments or things coming out in court cases that are really, really, really bad and sort of sink your campaign, well, then those little proportional amounts that you got in those votes, that those primaries that Trump won by over 50, and all of a sudden they start to matter. Well, Trumpy doesn't want those ones to matter. So they're trying to do a rule change to help him. Well, it seems that somewhere along the way, some Trump supporters didn't understand that the rule change proposal came from Trump. They thought it came from some guy named Patterson and Kevin McCarthy, of all people. And then are saying they're trying to derail Trump's chances of winning. They're trying to create a chance for a broken convention where anybody but Trump candidate could win. And then, well, it seems that two factions of Trumpies started fighting each other. Because funny. They couldn't understand. They thought that something that Trump proposed to help himself came from somebody else that they're already predisposed to not liking, Kevin McCarthy, and therefore was an attempt to sabotage him. And then both sides couldn't agree on who was right and who was wrong. And then they all started calling each other's names and then taking swings at each other. Yeah. That's when you put the music. Oh man, I don't know what it is, but I always knew that because at first they turned their anger towards us, and then it didn't work, and we're not really biting, so they need to be mad. So now they're looking at each other to see like who among each other is not fully loyal, and then now they want to fight them. I'm just saying, you know what? This is the part of the program where we get to step back and eat the popcorn again. Don't interrupt them, please. Just don't even draw attention to yourself. Just like quietly from a safe distance. Just enjoy the popcorn. Yummy, buttery flavored popcorn. Like, where your hands all greasy, you need to like wipe it with a little paper towel. Like after every 10 bites, dripping in butter. Yummy, Schadenfreude butter. I love, when they start fighting each other.
Well, it was like when the Proud Boys were fighting with, who was it?
The Oath Keepers
group. The Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys are fighting each other. I'm like, oh, this is good. I'm sit back and watch this.
Calling each other racists. I had forgotten about that one. There was that too. Yes, maple bacon flavored popcorn. tomorrow, kits and cubs, cigarettes sold in Canada will be required to be individually printed with anti-smoking warnings. We talked about that when Health Canada made the decision last year. The rules coming into effect, and it seems that other countries like Australia and Norway are considering taking our lead. We will be the first country in the world to ever do that. And tomorrow, all cigarettes sold will be required to have those individually printed warnings. Let's see what else we have. We were talking about rent and foreign-owned properties the other day as well, Mr. Grizzly. And since then, I heard that there's a recent study that shows that Alberta is the province in Canada that has some of the highest rates of corporate investment in housing than any other large Canadian province. Apartment buildings are owned by publicly traded investment trusts, and it seems that with a combination of lack of rent control by the province, that's been attracting the investment over there. There's no rent control, so let's buy the properties there. So now a bigger proportion of properties there are owned by such REITs, real estate investment trusts, REITs. This has been blamed for the trend of steep rent increases and displacing tenants. According to the University of Waterloo School of Planning, the real estate groups say that this money is critical to building the 5.8 million new homes Canada needs, but if nobody's living in them,
or can afford to live in them.
Yes. Well, how do they contribute to the stock, the 5.8 million stock that Canada needs? They can contribute to an additional 1.2 million stock that you're using in terms, vacant properties for rent or bed and breakfast or whatnot. But if there are actually not enough homes, you have to have enough homes before you start building extra homes to be able to profit from in that way. If you don't have enough, then they're just homes that are off the market while people are on the street. Not sure about the real estate group's logic in this one. Not sure. But there you go. The Prime Minister today will be in Toronto and in Hamilton visiting a construction site, talking to workers before making an announcement. So I'm guessing that might be a housing-related announcement that we'll have something to talk about. Hopefully.
Probably, yeah.
Hopefully. In British Columbia, there's a fire that is straddling the Canada-U.S. border near Osoyoos in the southern Okanagan region. It's about 9 square kilometers in size on the Canadian side of the border, but about 4 times the size of that on the U.S. side of the border. 732 properties have put under an evacuation order by 10 p.m. local time yesterday, and by midnight, the town had declared an official state of emergency. Thousands more are under a fire evacuation alert, so be prepared to leave at any time, at any moment. So have everything pre-packed already so you can grab them and out the door. You even have them already in the car so you don't have to waste time. Because when the alert comes, you've got minutes.
Oh, yes.
The town is urging residents to conserve water for firefighting and is asking boaters to stay off the lake to make way for water bombers. So if you know anybody in that area, please make sure that this information gets to them. Very important. Let's see, what else do we have here again? International compensation deal. Yeah, we talked about that already. That's soccer.
Well, there's the flood cleanup in Nova Scotia right now.
Yes.
Which is underway. It's a pretty big one because they got, 2 months worth of rain in a day?
Yeah.
Or 2 days, or I forget what it was, but it was like...
Within 48 hours for sure.
Yeah.
Almost within 24 even, I think.
It's where the term unprecedented truly applies.
Yeah. The World Aquatics Championships are over, and Canada finished in great style. There are so many stories to be told, and Devin Heroux, who was there, has agreed to come back on the show. So hopefully when he gets home and gets settled, he'll be able to talk with us. I know that he's off to another major event almost like in a week from now. So hopefully we'll get him between the two, if not after. But he had a great time from all I can see from his reporting. But Canada finished in the pool in the swimming events with 6 medals. That goes on top of the other medals. I believe there was 2 in high diving and I believe 2 in regular diving. So
synchro too, was there not?
Yes, yeah. So there was one synchro, 1 individual diving, 2 high tower diving, I believe. I might be missing one, I'm not sure, but 6 in the pool, which is a pretty good haul when you consider that Penny Alexiak was out.
Wasn't even there.
When you consider that Kylie Mass is coming back.
But how about Josh Leando getting that silver medal?
Yeah.
Silver medal.
Yes, Josh Leando, silver medal in the 100.
And very close to the gold, super close
2
on that
tenths.
one. So, yeah.
2 tenths.
So you watch him in the Olympics this next summer.
And he didn't do the 50 free final.
No, because he
qualified.
He wanted the 100. Yeah.
He qualified for the 50 free final. And then...
but they were only 30 minutes apart.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why he opted out. And I'm like, yeah, I don't blame him. Yeah. He wants to go after the 100.
Well, yeah, there was a weird thing that night. They had the semifinal for the 100 fly and the final for the 50 free, about 35 minutes apart, and they put the semifinal, the final for the 50, before the semifinal. Also, like, why would you do that? Because you have to understand that for swimmers, I used to compete not at that level, but one level below at the master's level. The speed racers fly then free, free then fly are the 2 fastest strokes. So often freestylers are also fly. So they will often 100 fly swimmer will often swim 100 free and vice versa, and same thing for the 50s. So usually you try not to schedule those, the 50, 100. When you have a whole week long one on the same day as the semifinals, you try not to do that. It's like not also for the distance swimmers, you don't try to schedule the 800 and the 1500 heats on the same day. Just dumb. Well, for the women, they had something similar as well. I think they had the 50, the 50 fly and the 50 free. I think one was a semifinal and one was anyway, within 14 minutes of each other. On the same damn day. 14. Which was ridiculous. So somebody will have to talk about that now. The person who won both happens to be the fastest woman in water ever. This Swedish phenom named Sarah Sjöström, who only swims 50s, I think, now. She's just doing that. And she's got like more individual world championship medals or gold medals than Michael Phelps now, or something like that, or more individual. Like she beat in a 50 free the number 2 swimmer by 0.5 of a second, by half a second.
It's a big lead.
Over 50 meters, that's massive. That's huge.
Oh, it's huge. They call it 50 meter splash and dash, right?
Yeah. The 1500 meter free, 1,500 meters. The difference between first and second place was 0.05 of a second.
Wow. That's tight.
That was an epic race. Okay. The 50 meter free women's final winner won by half a second, 10 times the amount. That's how fast she is. Right.
Crazy.
And then when you were talking about Summer McIntosh, there was Katie Ledecky from the United States who's owned the 800. She's won the event 11 straight years. Yeah. Every race she's entered in.
Owns it.
She won that race by 4.44 seconds, 800 meter free. Summer McIntosh won the 400 IM by 4.3 seconds. Half the distance, same length.
Yeah. Crazy.
And on top of that, all that distance was gained in the last 2 legs, the last 200 meters. They were neck and neck at the back.
Remember, she's 16.
Yeah. So she broke out a 4-second lead over the second place competitor over the last 200 meters of a 400-meter race.
She's doing things at her age that Michael Phelps could only dream about. I mean, Michael Phelps is the greatest swimmer of all time, right?
Right.
Although that's changing. But everybody was like, she lost one race and everybody's freaking out. And I was like, okay, settle down. Michael Phelps didn't win everything at that age either.
No.
And she's already done more than he has at her age.
She's got 4 world championship golds already.
Yeah. At 16.
16.
Settle down. She'll be fine.
Jeez. So I'm willing to talk about. We actually have now a team, a B team, and a C team, and all of them are getting spots at Worlds.
So what I found was interesting when she won the 400. So she gets the gold in the 400, right? And by a huge margin, and at the same time sets a junior world record, which is funny.
Yes,
because she's competing with the seniors,
right?
But wins a junior world record because she's 16, so she still qualifies as a junior. Yet she's a world beater at the same time. Yeah. So it's like,
and
forget about it.
For her 400 IM, she didn't set the world record, which she already owns, but she set a new world championship record in it.
Yes.
And the world championship record is close to 2 seconds off the world record.
Yeah.
Still.
She's there. She's knocking on the door.
It's just insane. It's just insane how good she is. And then the women came back on the same day to win the 4x100 medley, not to win, but to win bronze in the 4x100 medley relay, thus qualifying the team, not necessarily those 4 swimmers, but the team a spot in the Olympics. So if you had, for the Olympics, there's a Olympic standard. If you meet it, you get to compete like this. And now every team has a maximum number of people they can enter in an event. So if 10 people in the country meet the standard, there's only 3 spots for your team. The only 3 get to go. But if you meet the standard, you get to go. Because if you fill in the spots on your team, that's there. That's guaranteed. But for the relays, you have to pre-qualify teams with times. So, and you qualify the spot for your nation, not the swimmers. So whoever finished top 3 in the relays got an automatic qualification for Paris 2024. So this is the only one in which we got one, the relay, the 4x100 women's medley. We missed it by 1 in the 4x100 men's free. We finished 4th. Incredible performance. Again, by Josh Leando in the 3rd leg, really just amazing. But that team didn't even qualify for the final 1 year ago at the World Championships. The World Swimming Championships are usually 2 years apart, but with COVID, things got displaced a little bit.
Yeah,
so these ones were just 1 year apart. The 4x100 men's free didn't even qualify for the final last year. This year, 7th.
Well, remember the 2020 Olympics didn't happen until 2021.
Yeah.
So.
No, sorry, that's the 4x100 medley was 9th, this year 7th. And then the 4x100 is 4th place at the World Championships. So probably at the Pan Ams or something like that, the team will qualify their spot. No problem. But incredible. And we have, like I said, there's the A team, right? Penny Alexiak, the Josh Leando now, the Summer McIntosh, Kylie Mass, Maggie McNeil, right? You got the A team. Then you got this B team. You got Ilya Karan. You've got Ingrid Vilm. You've got Sophie Angus, Mary Sophie Harvey. You've got all these names, Ruslan Gassiev, that you're going to be hearing. They're making semifinals and they're making finals, but they're finishing 12th, they're finishing 8th in the final, or so they're not medal winners, but they're there.
They're there.
But
they're knocking on the door.
Because in the relays, sometimes you substitute the swimmers, right? You have you swim your B team in the first round to qualify you to the next one. We've got people to do that with. The 4x100 team, medley team, the women that just won the bronze, to qualify, they qualified first time-wise without Summer McIntosh and without Maggie McNeil
and Penny Alexiak.
Yeah, in that rate, right? They had enough people to substitute, and still there are teams that don't. Right. So
let's just say they're deep.
Yeah, they're deep, and then they're
deep in the pool.
Yeah, and then there's a whole other level competitors that were there that did, that were setting personal bests and whatnot, that didn't necessarily make finals or semifinals, but they're there as well, or relay specialists. So it's good things. The groundwork is there for us to be hearing a lot about this team. For many Olympic cycles, it seems that the talent is now laddered, sort of like in tennis now, for us, where we didn't have a program at all before. So, Kitlin M, let's face it, summer is part fish.
Yeah.
maybe,
In that way.
maybe, and
It seems very much at home in
born
the
with
pool.
blades on her feet, because.
Well, it seems to me that anything that has to do with water, either frozen, snow form, or just liquid, we're pretty good at internationally. And who tends to take home the most medals in all of those? Oh yeah, that's the women.
Yep.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Like all the skiing events, women.
Yeah.
Figure skating, women.
Yep.
Swimming, women.
Canadian
skiing and snowboard, women.
Yeah, like Canada, where the women are strong and the men are pretty. I keep on saying it.
Yeah.
I keep on saying it. So
I got 2 things here I want to get to quickly, and then we can wrap up shortly. Here's the first one. This is Theo Moudakis' cartoon that got a lot of people PO'd, but I kind of like it. It's you're getting sleepy. You're beginning to feel unfree. Now cluck like a chicken. And it's Pierre Poilievre hypnotizing a Canadian beaver with a maple leaf on, walking away going cluck, cluck, cluck. And there's 2 women standing there. And the fourth panel says, just back from a Poilievre rally. You're beginning to feel unfree. A lot of people got PO'd, except here's the thing. I'm going to make us the freest nation on earth. Free from social programs? Is that what you mean? Because that's the only way to do it, as far as you're concerned. Because we are the freest nation on earth. I think we're in the top 3. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We're also, did you know this? We are the most educated nation on earth. On earth.
Yeah.
So we have more post-secondary education applicants and students and graduates than any other nation on earth. And go figure, we have to pay for it. So we want to be highly educated, and an educated society is a better society. So let's do something about lowering the costs for students by subsidizing it entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would like to.
Absolutely.
I would like to see it like that. Let's just make it so everybody has access to post-secondary education, because as it stands right now, there are millions of Canadians that cannot attend university because they simply don't have the money. And loans are not always an option, right?
Right. Exactly. I'm sending you 2 links here, Mr. Grizzly, because some of the kids in the chat have said that they'd like to see summer in action. So the first one will be, it's an article on CBC that if you go into it, there's a link that has the whole section with the introductions, whatnot, 9 minutes, 40 seconds, the whole race and introduction and all that kind of stuff of the World Championship. And then the second link is when she set the 400 IM world record in April of this year earlier.
Okay. Yeah.
So there you go. For those who are interested in seeing it for themselves, she is phenomenal. Phenomenal. And the poise. Oh
yeah, at 16, it's crazy.
Yeah, if you watch her in an interview after, like, she I just won the 400 IM by like 4 seconds and set a championship record at the World Championships, and yeah, she really has it together. So congratulations to all of Team Canada, because when everybody is there and in shape and performing at their maximum, and with this result, particularly ending it up with a qualification, that's the few and a two medal haul day. That's the exact flame you want the team to go out on to prepare for the last year for the Olympics, feeling confident that they have a A, B, and C level team. And nationals are starting, I think, like in 2 days. which is probably the last nationals before the Olympics where people are going to qualify their spots. So the whole team is there on a high in a moment. So go. This is the time. This is the time to nail it. Then I guess next year we might have some Pan Am games before the actual Olympics, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a warm-up.
Yeah, warm up.
So I have another thing here that I'm noticing. I guess this was July 29th. So what was that, Friday? Was Friday the 29th? Saturday. Friday was the 28th. From the 29th, Saturday, criminal trial for Freedom Convoy organizer Pat King to begin in November. He says he wants to be judged by a jury of his peers, and he would like to have the trial relocated from Ottawa to somewhere else. But, I thought, according to him, he's like, well, they'll be biased against me. Really? Because you kept saying it was just a loving, fun-filled party.
And that the majority supported you.
So why would you be afraid to not have it here? If that was the case, if it was this loving, fun-filled party where the majority of Canadians supported you, why won't you have the trial here, Pat? What are you afraid of, Pat?
And it's really interesting that you're mentioning that because the Coutts 4 trial, which was started in June, basically as soon as it started, had a delay because, let's just see what it says in the opening paragraph of this article. On what was supposed to be the first week of trial, lawyers for the 4 men accused of conspiring to murder RCMP officers during the border blockade and protests at Coutts, Alberta, have asked a judge for an adjournment. Court also heard there will be an application to move the trial from Lethbridge to a different city.
Interesting how that is.
The 3-week trial was supposed to begin Monday. That was around June 12th or so. Instead, the men are making a series of pretrial applications before the Courts of King's Bench Justice David Lebrance. On Monday, dozens of supporters gathered at the Lethbridge courthouse for the beginning of the court case, prompting an increase in the presence of sheriffs and police, of course. And they asked for an adjournment related to an allegation prosecutors have not yet handed over all of the evidence connected to the investigation, and that some of the disclosure came as late as the Friday preceding the start of the trial. The lawyers for the Crown did not dispute that fact, but they said, we've made like 14 or 13 different disclosure packages, and that was just the last one that happened. But sometimes some lawyers save the juiciest stuff for the last one to give the other side as little time to prepare as possible. And if it's an unfair little amount of time as possible, a judge will delay and say, no, you can't do that way, or else, the trial has to be done in such a way that it could withstand appeal, right? You can't do that.
Jake's commentary is hilarious.
He wants to be judged by a jury of his peers. Where are you going to find enough filth-covered hogs that speak English?
Did you also hear that the lawyer for the convoy organizers also wishes to dismiss the $300 million class action lawsuit because he said, that they had their freedom of expression. If this lawsuit goes ahead, that's a violation of their freedom of expression. It's like, hang on a second now. You forget that there are limits. There are limitations on freedom of expression. That's why we have laws against hate speech.
Right.
Well, where was the hate speech? I don't know. Nazi flags on the hill might have something to do with it. Every second person having an F. Trudeau flag might have something to do with it. Asking for the man's death might have something to do with it. Oh, also tormenting, terrorizing, and holding hostage 100,000 people for 3 weeks might have something to do with it. That's not freedom of expression. Taking a city hostage is not freedom of expression. It's a crime. And if you can't do the time, don't do the crime.
That's pretty much it. I did see a reference to that. I don't remember.
Well, this is a good one too. Linda's comment is, isn't this lawsuit the citizens' freedom of expression? Well, I would think so. Yeah, there's a couple stories about it over. It was last week I was reading about it. We didn't have time to get to it. Elaine was asking a question earlier in the chat. She's like, here, I'll post it on the screen. Says, are we going to talk about the Stampede Young Canadian scandal this week? Nate was talking about it last night.
We did.
Actually, we did address that last week. Yeah, we did.
Yes.
And
along with
it's not so much that we've moved on. We'll come back to it eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we did address that. So
along with news
just don't
that
want anybody.
again, something with the was it in Nova Scotia that there was another place that Operation Windshield where they were asking people to come forward with stories of people that had been abused or people that knew of things that happened because maybe they had worked there or in or around there at the time, because that one is gone. Charges have been laid. So yeah. So yeah, it was a big day of those types of stories. Actually, last week when we had reported about the $300 million thing, according to the CBC, the people facing a $300 million class action lawsuit for organizing the 2022 convoy protests in Ottawa are attempting to have the case squashed altogether or moved out of Canada's capital. Lawyers representing convoy organizers Tamara Lich, Chris Barber, and 10 other parties are preparing to argue the lawsuit should be dismissed because the legal action against them unduly limits their freedom of expression in a matter of public interest, as you said, Mr. Grizzly. The lawyer representing Pat King, another convoy organizer in the proceedings, is intending on supporting the motion to have the case tossed. Known as an anti-slap motion, the matter is expected to be debated during a court hearing in October. Quote, "What happened in Ottawa was a matter of expression." Okay. We had a lot of people who were obviously very upset with what was going on in 2022, and they were taking to the streets expressing themselves, said James Manson, the lawyer representing Lich, Barbara, and the others.
That's a reach.
The lawsuit
that is a huge reach.
The lawsuit that was launched against my clients and everybody else does relate to expression, and it does relate to a matter of public interest. Of course, it was the COVID vaccine mandates and all of the government's response to COVID, he said. And as we keep on saying on the show, yes, you have a right to freedom of expression through protest, but that doesn't mean you get to protest any damn day you want. Not any damn day, any damn way you want. Any damn day, yes.
And let's get back to the something they even pointed out that I said very loudly. The mandates are provincial. You're in the wrong city. They literally took that clip, used it in the POEC, played it back, and one of the guys who was part, I can't remember which one it was part, it might have been Chris Barber. I don't recall. He says, and the lawyer, Paul, I think it was Paul Champ, said, would that not be correct that the mandates were provincial and that you were actually in the wrong city protesting the vaccine and lockdown mandates? We never had a lockdown, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, yeah, that would be correct because they were all provincially. So again, your freedom of expression is misguided, number one. You're in the wrong place, number two. You took us hostage, number three. And
people to proven torture techniques, number four.
Like, sorry, there are limitations on expression, and there's a reason why. So throw it out.
Yeah.
Come on.
And
no judge is going to hear that.
We just saw Belleville. Your freedom of expression is quite fine. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Who was arrested for that again? Who went to jail?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Yeah. Got your old pal Jake again saying they're charging me with kidnapping, but I left a ransom note. They're infringing on my freedom of speech.
Oh my.
Yes. It's like, I should be free to leave ransom notes wherever I want. Yeah. I saw that too. So yeah, here's the thing. Yeah. You don't get to protest any damn day, any damn way you want. I mean, it's just freedom of expression. Come on, please. Paul Champ, the lawyer behind the proposed class action suit, said he doubted either of the motions would be successful. Quote, "The defendants, for whatever reason, still don't seem to be taking it seriously," he said. "They're trying to do everything they can to slow it down." Manson denies that's the case. "There's a huge backlog in our court system, and I would never do anything to increase that backlog. I'm not interested in creating delay for the sake of creating delay," he said. No, he would rather the thing be tossed.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah, right. I'm not trying to delay. I'm trying to get the thing tossed. But you know you have no chance of succeeding, so all you're doing is delaying.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess statistically you have a 0.0001276% chance that the judge on that day totally forgets the law and all precedent and as a sudden attack of Arpanesia.
I'm going to go along with Linda's comment here about the Tamara Leach book being added to her local library. She's, everybody's like, don't read it, don't read it, don't read it. And I'm like, I'm supporting you on this one, Linda.
Yeah.
I agree with you. How can you fight against oppression if you don't know how you're being oppressed? Maybe I'm not choosing the words carefully there, but
strategically, you have to know what your enemy's doing, what they're saying to each other.
Thank you. There you go.
You have to. We're talking about Tamara Leach's book. Linda Emmett commented, my library just added Tamara Leach's book to the catalog. I can't decide if I want to read it or not. And you know what? I understand that mixed emotion because there's times for this show that I have to go and listen to certain stuff, and it's like, oh, God.
Yeah.
I do it so you don't have to. But sometimes it's painful.
And sometimes we need to do what I did on Friday and just unplug for a few days. Oh, and Ray Girl, I saw your message. I wasn't ignoring you. I didn't see it till this morning because I was ignoring everything and everyone for the weekend. I just posted a couple of social event videos, a football game and a concert. But I didn't respond to any message or anything, but I did see it, and I'll reach out to you a little bit later. Promise.
All right. Criminal trials are to come. Lich and Barber are scheduled for trial in September on criminal charges related to the protests. The pair are co-accused of mischief, obstructing police, and counseling others to commit mischief and intimidation. King's trial is scheduled for November, and he's charged with mischief, counseling to commit mischief, counseling to disobey a court order, and counseling to obstruct police. During his bail hearing, he was charged with perjury and obstruction of justice, held in jail for 5 months before being released on bail. He's also requesting his criminal trial be moved out of Ottawa, saying he feels an Ottawa judge and jury would be too biased to offer a fair hearing, as you mentioned, Mr. Grizzly.
But everyone loved him.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone loved him. It was just a big dance disco party. It was a love fest.
And I'm sure our old pal Jake here must be banging his head against the desk again that they had an insurrection on January 6th, and they're still waiting to see when the indictments are going to fall. And so far, the first indictment's not going to be all the stuff. It's just going to be like some stuff, because I'm sure there are going to be many superseding indictments on that one. And meanwhile, here in Canada, our January 6th sort of attempt has already had a public order emergency commission go through the whole thing, deliver a report, said it was bunk, and the Coots trial sort of started but delayed, and everybody else's trials, and people actually haven't been held in jail for a while who organized it. Yeah. Of course, nobody from the Conservative Party of Canada or the PPC, People's Party of Canada, yet have been roped in. It would be really nice. Now, I can understand maybe in this instance that it was sort of like this grassroots type thing that popped in, and then the Conservatives decided they were just going to ride that train. But if Lordy, there are tapes applies on both sides of the border, Lordy, I sure hope there are tapes of people from the convoy talking to Dean French or Rob Ford or Candice Bergen or Pierre Poilievre. Russia, if you're out there and you know what those tapes are. Come on, Pootie. You're going through a tough time there in Ukraine. You know Pierre's never going to love you. Not the way you need to be. Release those tapes. Come on, Vlad. Be bad. Our old pal Jake goes, but I'm proud of the upstairs neighbors. Hopefully we take a page from you guys on how to actually hold these folks to account. Yeah, I know it's killing you. It's killing you, my friend. It's killing us too. Trust me. It's like, just freaking charge the man. Jeez, stop dancing. They're gonna go crazy whether you charge him or not. Just make them go crazy for a damn good reason. Charge them.
I got something I want to put on the screen here. I know this is from this past from a week or two ago, but I'm just seeing this for the first time. from an individual who we've had a lot of issues with. It's from Andrew Coyne.
Oh,
and we've had
today's the
issues
day he
with him.
did something right.
Well, it's, anyway.
He swings back and forth.
He does. But this one is interesting because his reaction to it is really, well, it's visceral, it's extreme, and it's the exact reaction every single Canadian should have. Let me just put this on the screen. This is the tweet from Andrew Coyne. Jesus H. Christ, this is just appalling. Ex-PM Stephen Harper seeks closer ties with Hungary's far-right leader Viktor Orban. Can't argue with that, right? I mean, but it's, again, like I said, Andrew Coyne, he some days broken clock and all. Yeah, and look, let's be honest, we're never going to see eye to eye with every single person we encounter in our lives, and that's understandable. That's expected. When he misses by a large margin, and it's not because of, well, he should have done it this way. It's not. No, dude, you painted way outside the lines on that one.
Yep.
And this one, somebody might say, well, he painted outside the lines on that one, and I'm like, no, Orban is a Nazi. Period. He espouses Nazi ideologies. He's almost taken Nazi speeches and recited them verbatim. And it's people in his own party have said, this can't stand. This guy's out of his mind. So when former Prime Minister of Canada, Stephen Harper, wants to seek closer ties with a Nazi, we've got a problem.
Ooh, do we ever? Also on the weekend, the Prime Minister of Canada decided to show that he was the Prime Minister of all Canadians by attending Pride in PEI.
I saw that, yeah.
Where a ton of protesters did not show up with Trump flags and FU flags, and a whole bunch of additional security detail was not needed because Prides are love-ins. They are happy places where happy things happen. And people generally like to be happy. So no additional security detail is needed. Apparently, conservatives online couldn't hack it. So,
of course not.
Yes, the PM attending Pride broke a lot of conservatives this weekend for some reason. Do not know why, but oh well, life's too short to worry about them. And then, somebody, that white shirt from Poilievre, somebody have been asking, I just need you to stay there 1 second, Mr. Grizzly, if you would, to put this up, have been asking what has happened to Poilievre. And I think that the court pleb will be really, really disappointed because his spank bank material might have changed a bit. Remember this? Oh my God, he's so jacked. He does his CrossFit. That was July 30th. And
so that's the video. That's the video clip I showed. That's a still from the video clip I showed earlier of him saying diversity, equity, inclusion is absolute garbage.
Yeah, without the glasses here.
He didn't have. He doesn't. Maybe he didn't have glasses in the other clip. It was hard to tell because it was quite small and I couldn't blow it up.
So not sure what happened here, but
not wearing his girdle.
Yep, pencil neck Spanx trademark and the wash Pierre. So now, of course, again,
we're not going to body shame, but
not body shame. And I have plenty pictures of me at curling events holding a curling broom as a skip with my gut hanging out like that for all to see. Because I decided to just breathe out and release my lower back and slouch. So, but hey, if you're going to make that part of your campaign, then you better make sure that you are looking jacked and svelte at all times.
So yesterday we're sitting here.
Again, you opened the door, counselor.
Bridget and I are sitting on the couch, and I said, I wonder how much I weigh. She goes, what do you mean? I go, well, I haven't stepped on the scale since I went on vacation. Let's just go step on it for fun and see. she says, "Oh, what do you think?" And I go, "I have an idea, but we'll wait and see." I said, because, I've although admittedly I've been eating a lot of food and drinking a lot of beer because I was on holiday, I thought I probably lost weight. She's like, "Really?" I go, "Yeah, I need to get some muscle tone back. I got to get back into the gym, and I've got a little bit of fat around my midsection right now, which is abnormal for me. But I haven't been as active. But I did a lot of hiking, some paddle boarding. So I step on the scale, and it's like, come back. I go, "Yeah, I lost 8 pounds." She goes, "What?" Yeah, like I'm 172. I'm normally between 175 to 180 on any given week, right? So I said, the last time I stepped on it, I was 180. Now I'm 172. She's like, "Should I be worried?" I go, "No, I can lose 5 pounds in a day. That's just how my body is."
Yep.
But she's like, I don't know if I should love you or hate you over this.
Yeah, I can see that. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to do Guarded Genuous today.
No. Let's skip him altogether.
I'm gonna skip that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I am gonna grab a coffee.
Mark Slaphappy is asking for Seamus O'Regan to be deported to Ireland because the workers didn't. Anyway.
I'm gonna get a coffee. I'll be right back.
I always know just what to say to discourage him, don't I? Oh man. Oh geez, I tell you. It's yeah, we're living in a weird world. Remember on Friday when we told you about that lady in Arizona who had fallen out of a wheelchair and she was lying on the pavement for a while and that she had burns? I thought that happened because she might have been like laying on the sidewalk for about 5 minutes or so, right? And just people didn't see her there for a while. Turns out no. Turns out that asphalt in direct sunlight at 100 degrees Fahrenheit temperature can reach 160 degrees Fahrenheit.
Whoa.
And in 120 Fahrenheit, temperature can reach up to 200. 3 seconds of contact with 140 Fahrenheit material can give you a second-degree burn. 5 seconds of contact can give you a third-degree burn. So it's not like she fell and was like, "Oh, I fell and I can't get up. Somebody help me." And nobody didn't see her for a while. She could have just like fallen by the time somebody went, "Oh my God, whoa," and picked her up. Already third-degree burn.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's how fast it happens.
No, that's why, when you see, they say, if you're taking your dog out for a walk during really extreme heat, avoid the pavement because it'll burn their pads unless you put, boots on them. And people, why would you put boots on your dog in the summertime? So they don't burn? In the winter, it's to keep them from freezing. In the summer, it's to keep them from burning. It's kind of like, Paul, why do you always wear a hat? Because I'm bald? Oh, are you ashamed of it? I do a live stream Monday to Friday with no hat on. I think I'm okay with my lack of hair on my head. It's about not getting burned or freezing. That's it. I don't want to freeze and I don't want to burn. I get about 2 weeks in the spring and sometimes 2 weeks in autumn when I can get away without a hat. And that's about it.
Yeah.
If I had a full head of hair, I wouldn't have to worry about wearing a hat all the time. I still would wear a hat in the summer, though. Even when I had hair, I started wearing like a wide-brimmed Tilly in the summertime at work because I was outside a lot, right, for my job at the time. So I kept a hat on because, well, skin cancer, premature aging. There's lots of reasons to wear a hat. Right?
Absolutely.
Pete will tell you that. Pete out in Australia, they had a campaign, Slip, Slap, Slop.
Okay.
Slip on a shirt, slap on a hat, and slop on some sunscreen. Because the instances of skin cancer in Australia were through the roof in the 80s and early 90s. And people were dying because, well, it's the largest organ in the human body. Mm-hmm. Or the human body's largest organ. That's what it is. People go, no, it's the heart. Nope, your skin is an organ.
Your skin.
It's the largest one. And if you don't take care of it, you're going to learn some hard stuff the worst way.
Mr. Grizzly, I think we have a show.
I believe we do, good sir. I've got nothing else to really report. There's nothing across my timeline that is really pressing at the moment. So yeah, let's just wrap it up, and I can get caught up on some work. I have 80 emails I got to sort through. Some of them aren't major, but nevertheless, it's work. It's work.
All right, kids. That's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver podcast. We hope that you love listening to us because we love making this for you and we love you. And thank you so much for all the time and attention that you give us and all the support and encouragement. We really appreciate it. Remember, sharing is caring. So please share news of us, share our episodes. We really appreciate retweets, especially when you have a retweet and leave a comment as well. So let your peeps and poops know about us because word of mouth is priceless. And, well, so are you. So thank you so much. We love to hear from you. Reach us on our Facebook at True North Eager Beaver, our Twitter feed at True Eager, or by email at truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com.
Our pod page is still active for some reason, even though they said they were shutting it down. So I don't know what's going on with that. It's still active. So
right. So while you still can.
Well, I'm wondering if I can no longer post to it, and we'll find that out. And if I can't post to it anymore, that's something we'll address later.
Okay. If we can't post to it anymore,
it's still available on Spotify and Google and Apple.
But I have to claim mea culpa. I've been very terrible at updating the coffee page with a new. At some point, it just became too much. So I stopped somewhere around like episode 53. But if a pod page doesn't do that anymore, what we'll do is through the coffee page, I'll be putting up the episodes there as well. I'll start with the more recent ones and then put the other ones to complete the back catalog over time. But we'll just migrate over there so that you can find our content there as well. Since that one's already active and that one we don't have to pay additional for. But for now, if you still can, it's podpage.com/the True North Eager Beaver, lowercase letters, all in one word with a hyphen in between each one of those. Not all in one word. Let's try that again. The True North Eager Beaver, lowercase letters with a hyphen between each one of those words. I'm mixing up the coffee one and
it's fine.
The pod page one. Why not also subscribe to our True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube channel? And kiddies, you did help us pass 300. Actually, we passed 300 during the show while we were asking you to help us pass 300. So whoever did that, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate that. Of course, now because we're greedy, we'll ask you for more. Now we want 400.
Well, yes, we'd like more. Well, hopefully at some point in time, when we start to, generate some money, we might be able to hire somebody to help us out with some of the production, news gathering, updating of stuff.
It would be really nice one day to actually be able to have an employee who would actually like pay a decent salary with decent benefits and the whole thing. That would be like a dream.
We're only going to do this correctly. We will not even consider hiring in somebody until we're in a position to pay them a livable wage and give them benefits. Otherwise, we would be the opposite of what we preach. We got to practice what we preach, right?
Yeah. But that would be could you imagine this little thing actually would be able to help someone else have a living?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And it would take some pressure off of you and I to get some. I mean, we'd still be plugged in and involved, but I could breathe a little bit easier because I'm working 75 hours a week on average. It's a lot because I'm old.
I said that the other day on the tennis court. I'm playing this 20-something young guy, I guess, who were at very similar levels. So we have these good long games. And at one point, I'm I'm winning, but I'm sitting there and I'm going, it's like, dude, I'm an old man. Take it easy on me.
Yeah.
You're making me run. Because, but you keep getting to everything. It's like, I see you playing you got the brace on your knee and thinking, okay, I'll just make this guy run, right? It's like, but I'm fast. And I get there. It's like, where you keep on getting to everything. I said, oh, you think this knee brace was going to stop me?
Well, he's 20, so.
But it's I was at one point, it's 32 outside, and I'm dripping wet, like this, like so much more. Like I can't even like take like the edge of my shirt and like wipe my eye with it because the shirt is so wet. I'd just be putting more water in my eye, and I just sort of like was like, dude, I'm an old man. I actually, I was trying to play this weekend, Friday and Saturday actually, and well, Friday was just ridiculously hot, so nobody took me up on the offer. But Saturday, but it turns out was probably a good idea because I had a very, very, very slight groin pull. I was okay by Sunday, but I had to do spent the whole weekend like stretching that groin area like crazy because something had happened. I was just like, you know what? Yeah. Oh, there's the 50. I felt fine during the match, and then I woke up the next day and it's like, oh yeah, I ran a little too hard yesterday, didn't I?
That happens.
Really
You
wanted
feel
to
it.
win.
It was after my 3-kilometer hike up a mountain in flip flops that I could barely walk for 2 days afterwards.
Oh, I
Proper
forgot.
hiking. I went on a hike last week with a buddy of mine who came to visit from Calgary, and we had proper hiking shoes on this time, so I was fine. No problem. Nothing. Not an issue at all.
You're right. I forgot we did that 10K hike, which is normally not in my week. So I probably, if I had that with all the tennis, that's probably where my groin said uncle for a couple of days.
Well, I think I walked about 12 kilometers in flip flops on Friday because we went to the Red Blacks game. It was a great time. We had a really good time. But there was a 1 hour rain. Well, not a rain delay, weather delay. And the weather delay is due to lightning. You can't have players on the field when there's light. And they said to everybody, please seek shelter. Like on the sign on the scoreboard, it's like in North Grandstands, move under the roof or move inside. South Grandstands, please move to the concession level or second level. Just get under cover because you don't want to be struck by lightning.
Yeah, it was a close match, but
it was
not a win for the Red Blacks.
Well, and I got a full respect for Hamilton's defense, and of course, what happened? Hamilton, Bo Levy-Mitchell, who had missed 4 games in a row due to injury, broke his leg. It looks like his season's done. I'm like, I feel for Hamilton, and I feel for him because he signed with Hamilton after being in Calgary for a decade. He signed a contract with Hamilton, and now like his whole season's basically done.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs, but they're down to their 4th string quarterback, just like Ottawa is. But our 4th string quarterback's been doing pretty well. And I say our like I'm a member of the team. I'm not. I've only been supporting Ottawa football since 1976, though. So
yeah,
been cheering for them since that Grey Cup.
You've put in some time.
Yeah.
Linda, I'm going the True North Eager Beaver Media Empire. Eventually that is the plan. Eventually that is
excellent.
Exactly.
No, Homer, you missed it. Excellent.
Exactly. But yes, no, eventually that's we're hoping to do that, to have a certain number of shows, and maybe, some people that currently come in and, we interview every now and then will want to start their own, and, we'll want to become the part of the True North Eager Beaver Media family, which is a happy member of the Crier Media family. We're not looking to start another rival family, but we wouldn't mind having a little family of our own within the family we are in.
Well, and we're still up and open to having correspondents in other parts of the country that can join us from time to time. Like we've talked about it. Maybe our East Coast could be Rhiannon, Saucy Sea Witch, because she's dialed in and has a lot to say, but it's things we got to work out in the future. And I'm trying to line up somebody for western part of the country, an Alberta correspondent, if you will.
Yeah, I would love someone from Manitoba, because there's provincial election coming up, to be able to help us there, because we don't have any contacts there at the moment that I know of.
So it just dials back into a second when we had the guys on from Alberta stand when we did the Alberta provincial election. And I had to bow out early because you went till like 3 a.m. or something like that.
Well, yeah.
And one of the guys, you're like, okay, we got a guest joining us, Charles Adler, and the guys from Alberta Stem are like, holy shit. I'm like, yeah, Charles is a friend of the show. We love him. He's a good guy. He's solid, and he calls out garbage on politicians daily.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm so happy he's having the success he is.
Me too.
I'm hoping it rubs off.
Well, this is
We
what
get a
we're hoping
little
for.
of that vicarious stuff.
Well, if we should probably have him back on the show again sometime soon.
Yeah. So 'cause I think we need to rub up against him a little bit, see if some of it rubs off. Although you know what, we're not doing too bad. He
Oh.
comes in he comes in with a 40-year lead on, well, about 38-year
Yes.
lead on us or something, right?
Yeah,
had time to prepare his
he had
tray.
a built-in audience, right? But that's not diminishing any of his success
No,
at
absolutely.
all.
You have to build that, and
Yes.
he stepped away for a bit. I mean, he was doing just Mondays on Ryan Jesperson's show, but
Mhm.
he had stepped away, and that people care enough about what he has to say, and that he's saying things that are still relevant enough that people will want to hear them in the numbers that they are, even after taking a break, is just a testament to all the work he's done beforehand.
Oh, yes. Well, and he said, this has reignited something in him, because it's this medium, unlike television or radio, is a lot more interactive. A lot more interactive,
Mhm.
and there's the chat, and then we could just invite somebody to join us in a moment's notice. If you're at home, you're watching us, you got a webcam, you got a microphone, we can bring people in. That's what makes this different from, say, television or radio. Radio, you have somebody screening calls. We can actually have a face-to-face conversation with somebody, which I think is, makes this cool. And the chat is so interactive, and we see the wonderful support we get from everybody, and that just, it makes it all
There's
worthwhile.
no better way to start the day. Seriously.
Yeah.
You start.
Exactly.
We start. We even if we come here to like whine and moan about something, like this, we're particularly enraged about something. We always leave the day with a healthy dose of love.
Oh, yes.
That's the kids. Mr. Dick, I can't DM you on Twitter because I follow you, but you don't follow me. Oh, well then send me something on. Just send me a Twitter message, and I'll make sure I follow you, and
There
then
you go.
that will solve the problem. There you go. All right. So yes, please subscribe to our True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube channel. That helps us out big time. I see that we're at 303, so more of you have joined since I saw the 300. Thank you so much. We love that very much. 303 is a 1% increase over 300.
That's right. We'll take it.
We'll take it. I'm all about the numbers, kids. We can't do this without your kind and generous support. So if you feel that we've done a particularly good show or month of shows, since it's the last of the month, and we all have mortgages and rent to pay, then yes, you can scan the QR code that Mr. Grizzly is going to put up right there, and that will bring you to our True North Eager Beaver Lodge Emergency Hydration Fund. And I don't see Jen today, so I'm not going to waste the M word today. I'll wait for her to be here.
Yeah, you got to hold it for future.
If you would, yes, we got to hold. Well, we can't say it every day. That's you have to release that strategically. The M bomb. So yes, but if you would like to make sure that these moneymakers stay nice and humid, so that we can keep delivering this for you, then you need to take your little camera and take a little picture of that squiggly there, and that will bring you to our hydration fund. Or if you are listening, then you go to coffee, that's spelled ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, all in one word, lowercase letters, and you can make your donation. You can make your donation to our Caesar Coffee, Guinness, and Hot Chocolate Fund, just as Kit. Oh, darn. I had it all lined up for a really smooth segue, and it did not happen. Darn. Just like Kit Wishful Son did after our show on Friday when I did the shameless self-promotion. Well, it seems someone did feel sorry enough for me and sent us a nice tip. Keep up the good work. Also, if you can try listening to Blowback by Miles Taylor, not the best book, but informative when it comes to Republicans in the U.S. Kit, our old pal Jake, if you're still out there on the chat, if you're familiar with this work, please give us your hot take. We'd love to hear it. But yes, thank you, Kit Wishful Son, for your support. And because of you, Kits, the month of July has been our best one since we've been on the air. So thank you. Yes. Thank you. Really. We we expect a dip in the summer.
Of course. And instead, we've had more growth than we ever expected. So we are honored. We're not humbled. We're honored. We're honored.
Absolutely honored. Okay, Kid Jake says, haven't read it yet, but I'll add it to the list. There you go. And again, whoever is listening to us in Italy, we still don't know who you are.
But thank you. We've seemed to have struck a chord with the Italian community, or the Italian community, with Italy, with Italians. Thank you. I don't know what it is, but we'll, hey, thank you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. So in the month of July, we've been on the Italian charts 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 days between July 1st and July 14th. And then not at all until July 29th, where we entered at 143rd on the top 250. Just out of the blue.
I don't know. How is this happening? I mean, we're just two silly guys from Canada.
Don't know. And on the Canadian one, in the last month, so this is June 30th, I can't count that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 of the days of July we've been on the charts.
Oh,
that's unheard of for us.
Yeah.
Unheard of for us. And we were off. Well, just the other day, we jumped from 228 to 125. We jumped 103 spots in one day. So, kids, whatever it is you're doing, it's the Red Speedo. Of course, it's the Red Speedo. It's the Red Speedo. I mean, of course, it gets everybody's attention. You can't avoid seeing that thing.
There's the 2021 version.
With the glass.
And there's the 2023 version.
With the bottle.
Pint glass. Bottle. And then, of course, let's go to the beach. Let's go to the beach, kids. What do you say?
Yes. There we go. Look at you finding your light. Flaming bear, dang, Grizz, says Jake. I think people are calling for the flaming bear too.
Let me see that. There it is. Here's the flaming bear. There we go. There we go.
So kids, coffee. It's ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, all in one word, lowercase letters, if you'd like to make a donation to our fund before the month of July is out so that we can start August on a good foot. We are more than happy to accept your generosity. Yes. All right, kids.
To answer your question, well, I don't know if it's a question, Ms. Sadega, but I'd love to help you out, but it's not my area of expertise at all. Now, I'm technical, sure. When it comes to sound and lighting, I can help you with that. But when it comes to anything related to the theater, I am merely an attendant, nothing more.
I'm willing to help in whatever capacity I can, because I'm also limited, but have a little bit of theater experience. So yeah, absolutely. Just ask away and yep. All right. From the Beaver Lodge, this is your Eager Beaver saying, until next time, dear kids, it can be a tough world out there. So be kind to and gentle with yourself. For the listeners, sorry for a little bit of the disjointed at end. We're going back and forth with the chat. So maybe a little, we're jumping a little up all around for you, but hopefully you did enjoy the main part of the show. All right. Oh, Kid Jake, I showed a pic of myself dressed similarly in a recent stream, but subs dropped by half. The Democrats denounced me and Pope called to curse me out personally. Ooh. Oh, my. Well, at least you know people are watching.
Well, yeah.
Mr. Grizzly, do you have some words of wisdom to kick off the week?
That's a good question. Do I? I don't really. I hadn't prepared anything, and I'm incapable of pulling anything off the top of my head sometimes. This might be one of those days, but I would say this. Drink plenty of water and moisturize. Because if you get caught out in the sun and get a bit of a burn, your skin's going to be flaky and you're going to be ashy, and nobody wants to be ashy. Again,
Queen Beaver from the Beaver Lodge saying HHMA. Hydrate, moisturize, then accessorize.
Accessorize.
Go forth and be fabulous.
Oh, you know what I did do on Saturday, though? After the Lucky Ron show, I went across the street to the Lookout to see the drag show. Because they have the free one on outdoor on the patio, and then there's the indoor ones that I have to pay for. It was quite good, actually. It was quite good. I didn't stay too long, but I stayed for a couple of sets and ventured on home.
Yeah, I saw the tall 50 at the table there at the Lucky Ron.
At the Lucky Ron. Well, as is tradition, you have to have a quart of 50. I was 2 pints of Guinness in, and I said, I'm going to switch it up and go to quart of 50. And the bartender goes, it's as is tradition, and he just chuckled. So he served it to me. And I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed it. I haven't said that about Labatt 50, I think, ever in my life. I enjoyed it.
Wow.
Yes, I did. I think it had to do, I was there with my beloved and my buddy Dale, and Lucky Ron was right there, and the music was good, and the crowd was good, and we were feeling happy. So maybe the next time I have one, I won't enjoy it at all, but I did enjoy it. So, first times for everything.
And of course, we have to do the proof, because if it's not on Twitter, then it didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if anybody can see that or not. It's not showing up for us. But there should be a clip of it there. If you click on the photo, actually, it'll blow up.
There you go.
Yeah, just click on it. There you go. You get the full Monty, as they say.
There you go.
As is tradition at a Lucky Ron show.
All right. And Mr. Grizzly, that you mentioned, that made me think of a perfect Easter egg once we roll the credits.
Okay.
You have your words of wisdom. You maybe didn't have any words of wisdom, so I'm going to take him. Soccer Canada Soccer. Smarten the fuck up.
Get it together.
Those are my words of wisdom. Mr. Grizzly, roll them credits.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum. And The Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
I was dancing along, and at the end it sped up, and I was doing sprockets all of a sudden.
Sprockets. Now sieht man Sprockets, wenn wir dance.
And all we danced. Mr. Grizzly, I had forgotten that we're not allowed to show commercials, because I was going to show a commercial, unless they were political ones. So I can't show it. But
I have the link. I'll put it in the chat.
I have the link that we put in the chat, because we talk on the show a lot about. You mentioned often that there was this survey of men that were done, and they were asked, like, who do you talk to when you have stuff that doesn't, when times are tough. Budweiser just put out a commercial.
Okay, I'll have to give it a look.
It says it's time to put the Bud back in Budweiser.
Oh.
Share this with a friend you haven't seen in a while and help us bring the Buds back. It says 7 out of... Hold on. It's my son. Sorry.
When was the last time you guys had a beer?
That is
Feel the volume.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. But basically, the premise of the commercial is 7 out of 10 men spend less time with their friends as they age.
Mm.
And it just goes from there. We need more of this. Healthy masculinity does mean showing emotions, and does mean, telling your friends that you love them.
Well,
it means hugs when you're happy to see people.
My Scotch and Cigar Club, I'm the youngest guy by about 7 or 8 years, right? And some of these guys are well into their 70s. And I tell them all the time, I love you guys, man. And they're like, oh, I go, no, it's important that I tell you this. And here's why. When I'm having a tough time, when things are rough, I know I can come and hang out with you guys and you will not judge me. And you can see that I'm having a tough time, but you still accept me and just bring me into your fold. And they're like, oh, okay, I love you too, man. You know, it's one of those things. And I've had one of my buddies a couple of weeks ago at Scotch and Cigar Club. He's like, you okay? You look like you were going through a bit there. I said, yeah, I was. I said, I'm much better now. He goes, I was a little worried about you there. I'm like, well, thanks. I'm doing good, but I have my tough days. That's what terrible brain chemistry does. Medication makes it makes a world of difference. But there are some days getting out of bed is just not an option for me.
Yeah. So they have a whole campaign called That's What Buds Do.ca.
Okay.
So if you have an opportunity, check it out. It's worth your time. This is we talk about we're the first to talk about greedy corporations. So when corporations do something right,
we're gonna give kudos where kudos is due.
This is a good campaign. This is a good campaign. Sort of on par like with the Dove Beauty campaign and that type of stuff.
And look, we get it's all about selling more product, but sometimes they can at least raise the awareness.
If capitalism is going to blend with something good, I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. All right, kids. Have a beaverific day.
See ya.